Had some interesting things with our video. How's it going, party people in the place to be? It's Dave Valente with the Political Deep Dive, joined as always by AJ. AJ, how you doing?
I have survived an interesting week. How about everybody else?
I have survived an interesting week as well. Dan will not be zooming in tonight. Dan is in Oswego, New York, to check out the eclipse. So
Which is not until tomorrow, so he could
he
be watching us
he
right
could
now,
be
everyone.
could be could be stalking us. He may be outside my house, driving by very slowly. May not be in Oswego yet.
May not.
Could be. I don't know.
Mm.
What's up, Heidi? Hi, Janice. How is everybody doing tonight? So, yeah, let's talk AJ's fundraiser.
Okay.
Yeah,
D-
let me tee this up. Let me add source.
or- I had a lot of help um, in making this video that hopefully will explain a little further. And if anyone's got questions, I'm willing to answer those. What's up, Craig?
All right, let me get the screen. I gotta
Hey,
stop.
I know her.
I know her too. She's pretty awesome.
I
Um,
mean,
all right, get back to that screen. All right, here we go. AJ's fundraiser.
Hello there. My name is AJ, and I have two sons, Charlie and Colin. We currently reside in Tennessee, but we plan to move to Colorado in June. This has been planned since February of 2023. We have watched our state's legislature with growing fear as their laws creep steadily deeper into the personal lives of Tennesseans. Books are being banned and in some cases burned. Medical records are being seized by the Attorney General. Taxpayer money is going to private charter schools instead of the public schools, and certainly not the special education departments. Hate is being spread against so many of us. So onward to more opportunity. We do need your help, and I thank you for anything that you donate. I thank all of you for your support and your love over the years. Thank you truly. Hello there.
All right. So, if you are so inclined and got a chance to do so, take out your phones. Everyone, take out your phones. Up in the top corner of the screen here, you see a nice QR code. If you take a snap of that or just run your camera over, it'll open up a link and it'll take you right to the fundraiser for AJ. It is at GoFundMe, so go check that out and donate what you can. It's a great cause, getting AJ the hell out of Tennessee, because there's lots of interesting things going on in Tennessee. And AJ alluded to a lot of that stuff um, this during the video, and we're going to talk about some of that stuff here in a minute. More Instagram fun. Um,
or Instagram fun.
yeah.
Um,
So
So the plan right now, and I mean the plan. This has been the plan for a while now. Is in June we will move because that will be Colin will finish with his sophomore year. Charlie finished. He graduated with his associates in science in January, so we'll move in June. I did go last month and look around and talked to several property managers, got some ideas, got some more information. Kind of looked around a couple of different communities. Um, we've been researching this for over a year. It's just now we're in the time crunch. Now is the time to get through and get going. Um, we're going through everything in the house. I'm going to have another yard sale, but I might put my gun on my hip so that people will remember their manners because I just
yeah.
can't. I don't think I can do it again. I don't know. So we'll see. But anyway, thank you all very much for your time and your consideration. Um, I'm just really hoping to get my boys out of here before it gets any worse. Because holy
Speaking
shit.
Speaking of worse, yeah, let's talk about what's going on in Tennessee because you sent me a whole lot of stuff. Now, there's a great website in Tennessee, a great follow for on a lot of social media. It's called the Tennessee Holler that
Yes.
covers what's going on in Tennessee. Um, in fact, let me bring that screen up.
Mhm. They have actually broken a couple of the, stories that have been picked up nationally. They are the ones that broke the story, um, about Randy McNally and his Instagram interesting, friends and whatnot. Um, and they're the ones that just tell all the stories on the politicians. And, people can say all they want to that they're left leaning. They've ratted out some Democrats. I'm not saying that they don't have favorites because of course everyone does.
Yeah,
But they are the most transparent news source that we have here.
yeah.
Because no one
It's
else is telling the truth.
well, it's sad about what's happened to American media in that it used to be American media would have a very robust investigative reporting aspect that would hold people to account. Like, if a politician was doing something skeezy, they would be out there. Uh, whenever the politician stepped outside of their office, they would be there with a camera. Hey, Congressman so and so, tell me about this. Tell me about that. That's
Mhm.
largely disappeared as we've gone into corporate media, and it's largely disappeared in the realm um, that if it's against the certain ideology of the news organization, and we know that a lot of the news organizations have conglomerated under certain massive news conglomerates across the country, whether it's um, the names are escaping me right now, but there are several large, like Sinclair Broadcasting, that have multiple television stations, sometimes multiple television stations within the same market.
Mhm.
They'll have the ABC and the CBS affiliate, or they may have ABC, CBS, and NBC, and somebody else may have Fox. But if the investigative reporter is trying to go after a politician that is of the same ideological bent of the news organization or the owners of the station, those get shut down. And we've become so tribal when it comes to the stuff we're fed. So, you can look at American media now and say, all right, we know that the people that own the station, whether it's like MSNBC or CNN, they're going to attack stuff from a left bias. If you're going with Fox News, Newsmax, whatever, OANN, they're going to attack stuff from a right bias. So if you want to get the dirt on the Republicans, you go to MSNBC and CNN. If you want to get the dirt on the Democrats, you'll go to Fox and Newsmax. That's just how you got to do it. But these small independent folks that don't have any alignment to any of the major news outlets, these are great resources. Um,
We
yeah,
have, not just the Tennessee Holler, we've got the Tennessee Lookout, and then the Guardian, is starting to pay attention as well. Um, I think the Democratic Party is trying very, very hard in Tennessee, which is great for Tennessee. I sure hope that they succeed. It's just too late for my family. We've got to go. Um, but as far as Tennessee goes, they do seem to be trying. And I do hope that the Justins can change it because there are people here that I love, and I would hate for their home to become unwelcoming because it's not a good feeling. It is really one of those things that you never want to experience and you never want your kids to experience.
exactly.
Um, so anyway, Tennessee's epic crazy. Like I've been saying this for what, like 2 years now? Like we're just insane. Um, which one do you want to talk about first? Because there's just so many.
Yeah,
Like the
actually,
last
Craig
week.
Craig makes a great point. I watch BBC. I watch Deutsche Welle, which is the German news broadcaster. They are state-run media. I actually watch. I actually enjoy Canadian broadcasting as well. Although it's
Mhm.
harder to watch Canadian Broadcasting Company because they do tend to black it out in the United States. Um, I think they're. I mean, I know people that will vehemently disagree with, especially Canadians who vehemently disagree with me on that. But if yeah, watch international news coverage of American news stories far better than what we get in the United States. Just
Oh,
know that if you're watching it and they start covering their own domestic issues, you're going to have to factor in that they are government news organizations. They will toe the government line. So,
okay.
but all right, yeah. So tell me. Ah, yes, this is the first one you sent me the other day. Uh, the scourge of students identifying as something else, and it's not gender.
No. Janice Bowling, who is my representative, um, is just conspiracy crazy. She is crazy Q to the nth degree. She believes that there are students that are demanding there be litter boxes for their personal use as their bathrooms at schools. This is not happening. No one has reported this at all.
But
This is something else these crazy Republicans are pulling. So, Tennessee Holler, thankfully, is
yeah,
covering
let's
this
check this
crap.
out.
Children who identify as snakes, cats, whatever, they're providing litter boxes for the cats. Obviously, it's very disruptive to the learning process. If a child has that much of a self identity issue, they probably need a different environment. And it's creating a lot of confusion, a lot of anxiety with the children who are boys and girls. People who identify as cats using a litter box in a hallway. That is not good. That is not healthy for anybody in a lot of different capacities. So I thank you, Representative Littleton, for addressing that growing crisis in our quote unquote public schools. Children who identify as snakes.
Yeah,
Okay, so did you see in the comments where people are like, you know what's weird? I've been a high school teacher for 11 years. You know what I haven't seen? A single litter box. You know what we have seen? A lot of guns. And the Republican Party is going to do anything but strengthen gun legislation in Tennessee. That is never going to happen.
no,
They
that
have
won't
a
happen there.
new facility being built. Oh crap. Was it Shelbyville or Maryville? Maybe it's Maryville. A new facility with Smith and Wesson. It's gonna be the wild, wild west, y'all, and it's gonna be a bunch of people that are just angry, and they don't even know why.
It's yeah, the
They
current
don't
political
they don't
climate
even
is
know why.
perverse. Oh, and
It's insane.
debuting this week is the new Civil War movie, which um will be interesting to see how that maybe amp up the debate in the United States about civil unrest. But
I'm terrified.
yeah, yeah, people are losing their minds about, and you can see this when somebody's talking about cats and the like. You're saying there's a litter box in the hallway. She said in the hallway. Just somebody
Mhm.
just whips it out and pisses in it, or drops trowel and takes a dump in it. Like how dumb is this? Like,
How dumb is
did
this?
you see a playbill for a High School Musical Cats and just connect the dots? Or is just somebody trolling you and you believed it hook, line, and sinker? Like I don't get it. How
It
people
is
believe this crap.
it is one of many. I'm not kidding when I say that I am surrounded. Like, I literally ended up in a pit of crazy QAnons when I was looking at local candidates, y'all. I'm not making it up. I ended up in a room of people that were talking about the Latin involved in COVID and how that was a conspiracy against us all, and that they were doing that to wipe out the superior white race. And I'm like, oh, how do I leave?
And,
Like, how do I get out of this room?
to be fair, it's not just Tennessee because I'm living in West Virginia. We've got an open Senate seat because Joe Manchin's retiring and we're just getting out before he loses. Um, we've got open governor's race, and the governor's race has gotten particularly nasty. I keep hearing this term, child chemical castration or chemical castration of children. This has all to do with trans rights and just gender affirming care, just basic gender affirming care. They equate it with chemical castration. Um, in the state of West Virginia, it doesn't happen. One, because we really don't have the medical facilities to do it. Um, and two, they've already passed a lot of legislation. Now there is a way for children in the West Virginia to get gender affirming care if they are rated as highly likely to do self harm if they don't get the gender affirming care. But to put yourself in that position to qualify for that care, I mean, really set you up to be institutionalized. Like there's no good way to go about getting gender affirming care in West Virginia. They brag about passing bills about preventing transgender athletes from participating in women's sports. You know how many people this affected? How many dollars they spent debating this law, putting this law into practice for you know one person who had graduated by the time this law was passed.
You mean one person per each school,
No, no,
right?
no. One
No,
person in the entire state of West Virginia who
one
had
person in the
participated,
entire
I think
state.
I don't know if it was in basketball or soccer, um, but she participated. People got up in arms, and they debated this bill, I think over a couple of different sessions. So the
Mm,
amount of money that we spent debating this bill, putting this bill, running this bill through the House and the Senate, and getting it onto the governor's desk for signature for one person, like it feels retributive. Like they're
mm,
governing by retribution. Um,
mm.
it's awful. But the leading candidate for the Republican side is a weaselly little dude named Patrick Morrissey. I have no love for Patrick Morrissey. He's one of those stop the steal guys. He's the current attorney general. Um, when I was the state chair of the Libertarian Party, he pigeonholed me because he lost the 2018 Senate race to Joe Manchin. Um, and when he was running for his second term as attorney general, he pigeonholed me in the halls of the state capitol and said, "Hey, you guys running anybody for attorney general this time? Because you really cost me in that Senate." I was like, "We didn't cost you anything. Those votes did not belong to you, and you didn't make a good enough case for those votes." I don't have any love for Patrick Morrissey, but one of his opponents, Chris Miller, whose mom is a congresswoman, representing the Southern District of West Virginia, is running this ad. It's a PAC ad, but the PAC is fully funded by his dad. His dad, I think, runs the PAC. Um, is running a ad saying that as a lawyer, Patrick Morrissey has lobbied for um, a pharmaceutical company that is into the chemical castration of children, and this has run several times. Um, and the whole Republican nomination for governor has just been an absolute clown show, which is hard to imagine because this is on the heels of having Governor Jim Justice, who is a complete clown show for his 8 years of office. Um, yeah, it's difficult to watch. Like you see these candidates running as, "Oh, I'm a strong Trump conservative, and I will never let the kids be chemically castrated and keep the groomers from
Litter
taking, you
boxes
know,
out of the hallway.
yeah, we'll stop the grooming of our children. I will always say that if you want to stop the grooming of children, if you want to stop children from being put in a vulnerable position, ban them from going to church.
Until they're
That's what, or
18.
ban them
That
from
seems like
going
a
to,
really important decision to make.
or ban them
Well,
from going to family functions, because that's where children being groomed and molested is happening uh, uh, quite a bit. So,
and you
speaking
know
of
what
grooming,
doesn't
there's
happen
another.
to them?
Yeah, speaking of
Any
grooming,
punishment.
you have a guy that's running for governor, possibly.
Possibly, yeah. I've had conversations about this man previously that got a little high-tempered. So, here's the deal. This is John Rose. His his story, um, here you go.
Yeah. So essentially, he um, started dating. He was in his 40s. Started dating a young lady who was receiving a scholarship from his family to go to school. Apparently, started taking interest in her during her FFA time in high school. Yes, we can talk about this as, well, they're still married. It's, it's been a couple decades since this has happened. I get that, but there's some really skeezy youth pastor action going here. Um, I, I here's what makes me mad is that the number of times that people, especially this guy, hurl out the accusation of things like drag story hour, LGBTQ relationships are grooming, and this is the guy that's putting this stuff out there. He's been doing it. He's the one who's been grooming.
Yes. And no matter how you look at it, grooming
40
is about
40 on
power.
yeah, 40 on 17, 40 on 8. Yeah, you can say, well, if she was 18, it's legal.
There's
Yeah, by the law,
still
yes,
a
it is.
dynamic there.
There's
It
still some, I mean, especially power
even
dynamic, the fact that she was getting a scholarship from his
from his
family.
family, like, if she had said, "No, I'm not interested," I
Well,
wonder if things might have changed,
yeah,
and she wouldn't necessarily have known for sure one way or the other. That is the power dynamic that we are talking about here. Age differences between people don't give a shit
yeah.
as long as everybody's legal, but if there is a power dynamic, if there is someone that is way
Cons
better off or is in a position of power over someone else, there is
consent
a
can only
certain
be
amount of obligation that is
yeah,
felt.
well, consent can only be freely given. And if there's a power dynamic in this that we see here, is that consent freely given, or is it contingent upon keeping a college scholarship? You're a young person, like the whole thing back in the day when even with people like Monica Lewinsky back in the
Mhm,
day, where fresh out of
mhm.
college, 24 years old. Um, this is the president of the United States. Did she flirt with him? Sure. Did a lot of women flirt with Bill Clinton? Yes, absolutely. Um, but there's a power dynamic in that relationship that, there's reasons why you see laws or rules against fraternization amongst, within the military, within corporations, not wanting their employees to fraternize, especially if there's a power dynamic. You don't want a supervisor dating a subordinate employee.
Mhm,
Like there are just reasons why you don't want that to happen because, again, this is all about consent, and if you have a power dynamic like that in that relationship, then no, I'm not gonna have, good feelings about consent being given there freely. So, um,
yes.
yeah. Yeah, so that's, Mr. John Rose, who might be running for governor.
Well, we'll see
They're gonna
what happens.
pass a bill to allow teachers to carry guns in schools. That's something that I believe they passed here in West Virginia as well this year. I mean,
Mhm.
I've got mixed feelings on it. I think the idea of calling schools gun-free zones is counterproductive.
Yeah.
I don't like the idea of having guns in schools, absolutely not. I mean, we're wait for the first teacher to pistol whip a kid who gets out of line.
That's yeah. I
I mean,
mean,
or a
back in
teacher I
my
mean,
day.
my brother caused a teacher to, throw a desk at one point in his schooling. Uh, what would have happened if he had a gun? And
What
he
would have
actually went on
happened?
sabbatical after that and had to, go away for a while. But that's another dynamic, like, I think that it will help in the fact that, a nutter is not you're not gonna feel like a school is an absolute cakewalk to walk in there and shoot up, but we might see some other stuff, and time will tell with that. Um, again,
My issue is they're also pushing these vouchers that are gonna take money away from public schools. They're not gonna pay teachers what they deserve to be paid now,
sure.
but they're gonna ask them to be armed,
Yeah, I mean,
but
that's
not pay
the thing. I mean,
them. That's
they need to
weird,
have
right?
well, they need to have hazard pay, I think. I
And
think that they
honestly,
I mean,
as a both of my Gen Z kids were like, "That's a terrible idea. That's a
yeah,
terrible idea." First of all, that puts a gun in an environment that there wouldn't already be a gun. Teachers can be easily overpowered, and also teachers are human.
sure.
And if abuse and molestation happens now, and it does, wouldn't it happen more if they had a gun to
I mean, that's
make sure
that's a
that you
good point.
obey?
There's a possibility with that. Um, but
There's a
I
higher
think
chance
that
of that
there's
than them stopping a mass shooting.
well, what's gonna be hard to prove is what mass shooter passes by a school, and may go somewhere else to take out their carnage. But what I think it will help is if there is a mass shooting, you won't have 50 cops standing around outside the classroom while the shooter is going on. If the teacher I I I know plenty of teachers, and teachers know, would lay down their life for their kids, and many have with these school shootings, um, to protect them, to get them out of harm's way, to run cover while the shooter is taking aim at them. Um, if they're able to shoot back, okay, that's great. Um,
This is not
I
normal.
I know this is a very
This is not normal.
no, it's not normal, but what about I I joked this week that, who's to say that on December 21st of 2012 that the world didn't end, we're just in hell? Like, what about this world is normal now?
You're not wrong.
But, there's other fuckery going on in Tennessee.
Oh, but wait, there's
Wait,
more.
there's more. Let's talk about, uh, senators living in their own district.
All right. So, Speaker of the House, Cameron Sexton, who looks like the absolute creepiest creeper fucking ever, is a representative out of Cookville, which, okay, so here's an illustration of Tennessee, right? So I'm like right here in Middle Tennessee. Cookville is over to the east, right? Nashville, here's me again, is up here. There's a whole lot of road between these two places. So representatives are given a stipend, right? For
Yeah,
either the travel from their home to Nashville every day or for an apartment, a hotel, whatever, right?
yeah.
They are given the stipend. So Cameron Sexton represents Cookville but he only owns like a small condo that's not even big enough for his family in Cookville. It's like in a retirement neighborhood, actually, which is weird. He owns a home in Nashville, and that's where his kids attend school. So anyway,
Yeah, let's listen to Representative Justin Jones questioning a
yes,
bill about uh, getting migrants, illegal, undocumented workers, undocumented migrants off the voter rolls.
yes,
And my question to the sponsor is very simple. Representative Ritchie, would this legislation apply to representatives in this chamber? Say, for example, you had someone who represented Crossville but yet lived in Nashville. Would they be purged from the rolls?
Representative Ritchie, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think the question was partially a joke, seeing that this is a very substance bill. It's going to ensure that non-U.S. citizens, as long as a member, as I think you mentioned, Crossville, is a U.S. citizen, this bill will not do anything with that. What this bill simply does is it goes to the coordinator of elections and requires them to compare with the Department of Safety their database against the Tennessee voter registration database to ensure that non-U.S. citizens are not registered to vote in the state of Tennessee.
Representative Jones.
Do you honestly stand before us today and you're telling us that you believe that undocumented people are voting in the state of Tennessee? Do you believe this to be happening?
Representative Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. With this bill, it will ensure that anybody that is flagged by the Department of Safety will not be registered to vote in the state of Tennessee, is what the intent and what this is doing.
Representative Jones.
So I'll take that as a no. You don't believe this is happening. You just wanted to bring up something to raise fear-mongering about migrants, to raise fear-mongering about brown people, immigrants, with this mythology that you're trying to push before us. You did not say yes, so I take that as a no. Is that correct, Representative Ritchie?
Representative Ritchie.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I do not know if there is or if there is not. The purpose of this legislation is to make sure that non-U.S. citizens who are not allowed to vote in the state of Tennessee, this will require the coordinator of elections to double check with the Department of Safety to make sure if there is anybody who is illegally voting in the state of Tennessee will be caught if they're inside of the Department of Safety. And that's simply all the bill does, Representative.
Representative Jones.
Thank you. Again, this bill is not about voter integrity. This is about voter suppression. Let's be honest about that. And it's very discouraging that we continue to put up people who are undocumented as punching bags to try and make them an issue when these are people who are taxpayers in our state, who are part of our community, and this is an issue that's not happening. So once again, we have useless legislation that is a solution in search of a problem, but that seems to be the pattern that we keep seeing before this body. So I know everyone's going to clap. It's your first bill, but I hope that with your first and last bill, I wish we could do something to better the lives of Tennesseans and improve the lives of making voting easier in this state, increasing voter turnout, a state with one of those lowest voter turnouts. We should be looking at voter engagement, not voter suppression. This is a step in the wrong direction, and we know that this, voter suppression is the reason why we have the chamber looking the way it does. So, again, I won't be supporting this bill, and I hope that we take seriously the issues of members of this body and not actually living in their districts, because it's an actual issue happening right now in this chamber.
All right, so Justin Jones,
love Justin Jones. Like
I
such a
love
good-
his oratory, his
love him.
rhetorical ability, his way to I wouldn't. I'm probably not very much in alignment on economic issues, but his defense of civil rights is second to none. And just knowing what he's gone through, and the absolute revenge that the Republicans in Tennessee have taken against him is
Mhm.
quite amazing. So
And
if
I
you
want to
don't know his
apologize.
story,
I
check it out.
misspoke.
What's
Yeah,
that?
I misspoke. It wasn't Cookville. It was Crossville, which is like close or whatever. My bad. No, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson both. They're kind of the only ones that really stand up to any of the legislation that my family and I have we're running away from.
Yeah.
Honestly, they're about the only ones. So, and obviously they have their own fights, but they're taking these on too. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
It is crazy.
All right,
Let's
which one do you want to do next? Because there's more. Like this is just this week.
Yeah. All right. So this is the Voting Rights Restoration Bill. This is to restore the voting rights of people who have been convicted of a felony and have served their time and come out and want to be able to vote. So this
And
is them confronting
they,
a representative. I guess he voted against this in committee, and was it against the whole in the whole body?
I think this was in committee because
Okay.
most of these things are not making it to the
Yeah.
full body.
All right. So here we go.
Why did you vote against that voting rights restoration bill this fall? Reason for that, John? John, I'm going to give you one more chance. Why'd you vote against the bill to restore voting rights? Isn't that something you should have supported, being a Memphis guy? Voting rights restoration? It seems like a no-brainer for you. It passed anyway, and now you're just on the record opposing it. Seems like a kind of a bad look for a guy with a contested election.
In a country that I served, the goalposts continue to be moved as I continue to meet requirements.
Not being able to vote makes me feel like a non-American. I have an aggravated assault charge dating back several decades ago in another state, which prevents me from carrying a gun, and I'm fine with that. The bill before you removes that roadblock. I'm asking you to support this bill, allowing me the chance to vote according to my conservative Christian values that I hold dear, and be part of the democratic process for which I serve my country to protect.
Should be a no-brainer. And when you say that you don't feel like an American, that breaks my heart, especially after you've gone and fought.
Leader Lamberth, he is gone.
Chairman Doggett, you have 6 ayes and 4 noes.
House Bill 2380 as amended moves on to full criminal.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee.
Lovely.
Halsey voted against it, and Lamberth just walked out. I can't stand these people. They are honestly taking something that is already so difficult, and they keep adding obstacles. There's no reason that someone that has served their time, that is paying taxes, should not be able to vote. They have done their time. This is insanity to me.
Yeah. And it's odd. I think they had this in Florida a couple of years ago, where one of the people that was one of the the stars uh, of the testimony before the legislature was a former Republican operative who was convicted for voter fraud. I mean, stop the steal, but he had been convicted of voter fraud and wanted to have his rights restored. And because of Florida's draconian laws, they had stopped it. I think they passed it, but the state legislature killed it again. It goes back and forth. They're so afraid of letting people vote. And I understand you don't want people currently serving time voting. I mean, I get
Mhm.
that, but once you served your time, restore the rights. Like,
You
stop punishing
served your
people.
time. Yeah,
Yeah, stop punishing
I
people
know.
for something that they did decades ago, like that guy was talking about. Aggravated assault. Yeah, that sucks. He did his time. He went to prison and came back out, and he was a reformed person and is living
Yeah.
his life and trying to be a good citizen within his district, and that's not happening.
Well,
All right, let's talk.
taxation without representation was a whole fucking thing, y'all. I mean, that's kind of why we're Americans, is it not?
Exactly.
Is it not? So,
All right, so this last one, this is a representative talking about how they're funneling money to a organization, basically they accuse at least the left in schools of indoctrinating, but this is exactly what they're doing on at least with this organization here on the right.
It's the most obvious and transparent attempt to indoctrinate students that I've ever seen in the legislature. This is finding a political organization with a clear and documented reputation of being misleading, if not lying, about an issue, and giving them a platform to educate kids. And I mean, look, the extreme position that this legislature has taken on abortion is contrary to the views of Tennesseans. There are like 10-15% of Tennesseans that agree with this legislature when it comes to abortion. You're supposed to fix that through getting better arguments or making them. You're not supposed to try to fix it by micromanaging what our kids are learning in school. And it's just, we've talked all the time around here about parent rights. Like, you now have to fill out a form for your child to participate in the math club because of parent choice and parent options. But, like, we're going to let the Republicans in the legislature teach our kids about sex and morality and the beginning of life. It's outlandish, and it's frankly, it should go against your instinct as an American, regardless of where you are on pro-choice, pro-life issue. There is no opt-out. It is a mandatory instruction for kids, and it's just gross.
All right. So
Yeah. That's the
was
story of
brought up
Tennessee.
by, yes. That was Bowling, Janice Bowling, the one that also believes the litter boxes are in a hallway, and Gino Bolso out of Brentwood. He is the one that started all the anti-drag. He is the one that started all the anti-pride. He is the one that has banned all the pride flags. He's also the one pushing the school vouchers because his son is a pastor that has one of those schools that's going to benefit. So there you go, y'all.
So that's the story of
Please
Tennessee.
help me leave
Yes.
because
Again, click that or take a picture of that QR code up in the top corner there to help AJ get the hell out of Tennessee until they can restore some balance. And this is an endemic issue. I don't care what state you live in. When you have a state that is dominated that hard by one party or the other, we used to make fun of like communist states that only had one party in them. It's not a good thing. It's never a good thing. Um, and eventually, those parties do groan under the weight of their different factions, and will eventually split and become weaker. Um, but they do a lot of damage before that happens. And I don't care whether you're a libertarian, Democrat, Reform Party, Forward Party, whatever. There needs to be a balancing party within the legislature. For me, I want like 6 or 7 parties that are within the legislature balancing each other, because you're not going to see the absolute train wreck of legislation that you're seeing from these one party states. Um, the Democrats do that. You can look at California and some of the train wreck legislation they do, especially when it comes to business and taxation, and to I think they fundamentally misunderstand civil rights in California. Like they just kind of, well, the Republicans are against it, so we're going to go like 50 yards beyond what we should do. Um, like the whole cash bond thing. I'm cool with not having cash bond for a kid that gets picked up for you know, uh, a nonviolent crime, or somebody who gets picked up for, um, prostitution or something along those lines, as long as it's not, and for the mass majority of sex work, it is not trafficking. Um, I'm okay with not having cash bond for those crimes. Violent crimes, I'm okay with having cash bond for that, because violence, convicting people of violent crime and keeping them off the streets makes sense. Um, but they're just like, all cash bond goes away, and you get the issues like you see in some of these cities in California, which go completely off the rails. So the idea of having a one party state, um, I know it appeals to those parties because they're like, oh, finally I can do whatever I want to do. You need that balance. You need to We've made compromise such a dirty word that, neither side wants to give the other side a win, but they're giving themselves nothing but losses by being so obstinate, because one side is eventually going to, eventually the voters just get pissed off and they're going to give it to one side or the other. And, we're not going to, we hope that whatever side gets the power ends up being benevolent, but they never are. They're just going to do this stupid thing. because they've got the power to do whatever they want to do. So, yeah, Tennessee's in a mess. West Virginia's in a mess. Massachusetts in a mess. Maryland's in a mess. California's in a mess. And the what we're seeing is just these states making it so that they only have one representative in their, the primary election, which really should be only an election that, it's an inter-party dispute. They're making the primaries the general election. So, in states where they don't allow people to vote unless they're the member of that party, really your only chance to elect your representative is gone by the time the general election comes in. So, um, yeah, wherever you're at in this country, if you're the minority party, and again, if it's libertarian, Democrat, pirate, I don't care. Um, do the good thing and try and make it a little more even. I know as having been within the Libertarian Party, knowing that the difficulties that a majority party can make on your life. Um, Anybody who's still involved in the party have lived it and still live it. So, yeah. All right. Let's talk Eclipse. Are you ready for the eclipse tomorrow?
I have my glasses. I've had my okay, I'm gonna be honest. Um, so I bought glasses back in December because there was one earlier this year, and I'm fascinated with the sky because I don't know, it's not full of politicians, so like I really like it. Yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I had to sign a permission form for Colin for the high school. I'm assuming they're going to give him glasses and they're going to look at the sky.
Well, good.
Hopefully Donald Trump will look at this one again and that'll be the one.
And eat his eyes out. Yeah. Yeah, don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy.
Don't be that guy. Like, don't be Donald Trump, but especially when it comes to
Never.
like ever, but especially when it
Never,
comes
never.
to the eclipse on Monday afternoon, depending on where you see it, wherever you're at. In the South, it's starting earlier. By the time it gets around to our side of the country, it's going to be about 3 something in the
Mhm.
afternoon. But wear protection. I'm not going to be in totality. Dan is up in New York. He'll be in the totality. Um,
Yes.
it is a rare instance. I think the next total eclipse is what, 99. I mean, they have eclipses that happen all over the world, but within
This
the United
one,
States,
yeah,
yeah.
within
Um,
North America.
yeah. So tomorrow,
Um,
forecast for us is partly cloudy. So hopefully the clouds are behaving when they come by. I know
yeah.
south, like Arkansas and Texas, may be facing significant weather, so they may not be able to see it. It is. I mean, when you think about this, so think about the sun, and we're kind of lazy when it comes to how we think about our solar system, and we
It's
we
supposed
see
to
the
rain. Of course it is.
solar, the sun in the middle and the planets around in different areas, um, and they have the perfect little circles around the sun. That's not it at all. The sun is moving throughout the universe. It's moving around the center of the Milky Way, so it's moving. The Earth is moving around the sun almost like a corkscrew, and the moon is moving around the Earth. Ah,
Um, Craig, honestly, okay, so it's
yeah, Craig,
hilarious that you said that. There is a dead spot down my road where the cell phones won't work, and there's a farm there, and above the top it says Heaven's Gate. And I told mom, I was like, place is
that is
creeping me
creepy.
out, killing my signal.
That is
So
creepy as shit.
I will let you know, Craig.
If somebody tells you to wear a tracksuit on tomorrow afternoon, do not do it, and gives you a shot of alcohol, don't do it.
Don't do it. Don't
Don't do
drink the
it.
Kool-Aid.
Yeah. Um,
Oh gosh. That was the creepiest thing to watch because we were all glued to our TVs watching them bring body bags out
oh
of
my
some
god, yeah.
random house in California. That
Yep.
was the craziest, like,
Rancho
that
Santa
and, like,
Fe,
O.J.
California.
Simpson. Like, back in the day when there was only one news story going on ever at a time instead of this back to back every 12 minutes. There's a disaster. There's a bridge. There's an earthquake. There's a what? Speaking of, did you feel the earthquake?
I did not feel the earthquake. So, um, I was, uh, I got some friends in Pennsylvania, and we were in a chat, and they're like, "Oh, there's an earthquake in Philadelphia," and I was like, "Huh, interesting." Now, it was 4.8, so it's not terribly big. It was centered in New Jersey. Did
Yes.
millions of dollars of improvement to New Jersey. Um, but no, so 4.8. Now, when you think about the Richter scale is algorithmic. It's like if it goes up a point, it's like three times or however many
Yeah.
times as strong as what a 4.8 would be. Back in 2011, I was working in Atlanta, well, just outside of Atlanta in Decatur, Georgia, inside the perimeter. So ITP, as those people in Atlanta say. Um, and there was an earthquake that's centered in Virginia. Very significant one. It was like 5.8 for that one. That one shook DC hard enough that it put cracks in the Washington Monument, almost knocked the Washington Monument over. Put more cracks in the Capitol Dome. The Capitol Dome always has had cracks, but it was significant
Yeah.
enough that they ended up putting scaffolding around the Washington Monument and securing that, patching up some of the cracks from that earthquake. Um, and I used to say that the Washington Monument was ribbed for our pleasure, and then they did it to the Capitol Dome. The Capitol Dome was, covered up for a while. They're now both open for tourists and everything. So, but
Yeah.
I felt that earthquake in Georgia. Several states away, I felt the building kind of shake and rock a little bit, and that was about it. I mean, it wasn't like I felt I was knocked to the ground or anything, but um, yeah, it was quite crazy. It's been quite a crazy week. We had severe weather on what Monday. Tornado rolled
Yes.
through Charleston, West Virginia, knocked down facades on
Yes.
several buildings downtown. One of my friends' shop she works at, the door, the big garage door was ripped off. There was
Oh,
some
wow.
crazy video of people underneath a parking garage as it whipped through. Oh, so Jasper felt the earthquake in Connecticut. It's crazy. I watched the videos of the Yankees taking batting practice, and they were like, I kind of felt it move, but and then it just kept going. So
I started the new job this week and I was having some computer
you're the
issues.
cause of it all.
I was on the phone with IT, right? And she's asking me, different numbers, and we've gone through this and we've gone through that. And I've been on the phone with her for like, I don't know, 9, 12 minutes or something. She asked me for another serial number, and I'm reading that off to her. She was like, "Oh, um, could you hold on for just one moment?" And I was like, "Sure." And she came back. She was like, "I'm so sorry for the delay. We were having an earthquake." And I was like, "What? What? Where are you?" She was in Philadelphia.
That's
So I was
crazy.
like, "Holy that's crazy." Yeah.
Yeah, there's lots of rumors about the eclipse being a harbinger of death and disasters. We had a total eclipse going. I mean, yeah, anything to get away from the 2024 presidential election. I'm going to grasp that straw. You know,
Amen.
but that it's a harbinger for earthquakes and all of that other stuff, and the apocalypse may come, and I welcome it, but no, I mean it. We had one in 2017, and yeah, Donald Trump was president at that point. Maybe that was the bad thing that happened. Um, but the eclipses happen all over the world,
Mhm.
and
And
yeah,
this one
something
is
may
only
happen.
gonna be visible in North America,
Yeah.
so maybe.
Maybe. I mean, if people say that Earth, that there's higher instances of earthquakes during eclipse. I don't know. I think we'll find out very quickly because the path of the Earth, the moon goes right over the New Madrid Fault in St. Louis, which can throw out some pretty powerful earthquakes, but I don't think I really don't think. I mean, there's uh, several hundred earthquakes a day on the planet. I don't think there is a higher instance during during an eclipse. I mean, the last one that came in 2017 went over the Pacific subduction zone, um, and didn't do anything. So, um,
Is there a pool going for that somewhere?
Marjorie Taylor Greene tells us it's time to repent. Like, bitch, you start first. You need to start repenting for all the crazy shit you're doing. So,
She probably s I'm actually not gonna say what I was gonna say. I'm just I'm gonna let
bless your
go and
heart.
let God. Uh, alright, so what else do you wanna talk about?
Yeah, so let's see what other news of the week. So they are starting to they found another body at the Baltimore Bridge. I don't know, that's I think they're going to get a path cleared to at least get some traffic into Baltimore soon. Um, but I don't want them to go so fast that somebody gets injured doing this.
Well, didn't Elon have, like, the perfect solution for them where they just pick up the other bridge and, like, super glue it and then ta-da, it'll all be great again? Like, he told them how to fix it, and, I mean, if anyone can fix it, it's Elon Musk, right?
Yeah, I mean he'll tell you that. But yeah,
Cool.
it's just been a wacky week, and it's going to be a wacky week this week. Um, I know that President Trump was told that they're moving forward with his hush money trial, despite his request to have the judge removed, and which I always think that that's a bad move unless you've got actual really good grounds to do it.
Because then you're stuck with a judge that
With the
knows you
judge,
didn't want them.
yeah, that you've called, and I don't understand his whole. I mean, I know it's red meat for his fan base to call out the judge and his daughter. Like, why are you calling out family members? Oh, she's a Democrat operative. Yeah,
Wait,
I like.
wait, which daughter?
It's the daughter of the judge in the New York hush money trial. I can't remember his name.
Oh, the daughter of the judge. Okay, I was thinking
Yeah.
that you meant he was calling out one of his own daughters, and I was like, "Who turned?" Um, no, once again, if any of us threatened or even mentioned the daughter of the judge overseeing our trial,
Yeah, we would be disappeared.
I just don't feel like we would be out and about campaigning for president. I kinda feel like we would be in fucking jail because that's it's intimidation. That's I mean, is that not some cartel crap?
I mean, it's again. I know it's red meat for his fan base. Um. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Um.
congratulations.
Congratulations, and congratulations, Heidi, for being reelected chair.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Condolences, actually, for being a reelected chair of the Libertarian Party of Louisiana. Um, Wise
Congratulations and
choice on the part of
good
the
luck.
delegates of Louisiana. But
Yes,
yeah, um, it like so much of what Trump has done is, I mean, as a normal person, if we had done any of that, whether it is the fraud of
normal.
like Trump University, not paying contractors, not
Mhm.
paying, not paying your taxes, not paying your bills, we would have been thrown under jails. Like there's just there is no. I mean, money helps all, I guess, but we don't even know how much money this dude has, and other than the True Social, which is dropping like a rock.
Which is
Uh,
dropping like a rock. I think that is the funniest thing that has ever happened.
well, he has
Um,
to hold on to that stock that he has for 6 months. and I'm wondering how much that thing is gonna be worth when he gets to the 6-month mark. I mean, if he wins president, he may, that may be a boon to it, but, the numbers behind Truth Social, Pravda, as I call it, um, is they're not good at all. Like,
Mhm,
he claims, like, 6 or so million users. When
mhm,
you stack it up against buddy Elon's, Twitter, that's, a billion and a half users. Facebook Meta is even more when you combine, like, Instagram and Threads and Facebook. That's a massive, and his, social media company is just a drop in the bucket there.
yes,
Um, and it's hemorrhaging cash.
and
So,
with any luck, it will bleed to death.
yeah,
Done.
yeah, I mean,
Because honestly, every time I think about every dollar that's going because he also has the Trump store. Have you seen some of the things that he sells? Like, there's not just
the
sneakers,
Bible,
there's not just
the
Bibles,
Bible.
which, by the way, the Bible thing has pushed a Trump supporter over the edge. They're like, I just can't. You're not supposed to sell Bi you're not supposed to make a profit off like, that's wrong. So, like, yes, keep pushing those Bibles, buddy. Let's see how many other traditional Christians will be like,
Uh,
"Oh,
I don't know.
y'all, that's a little
I've
much."
kinda given up hope on the evangelicals leaving Trump. I mean, if you've excused everything up till now, I don't have a whole lot of hope for you.
I don't disagree. I think my problem is that I'm surrounded by people that are just adamant, and it's like, I can't deal. Um, that Trump
Craig's
is
probably right about the Truth
and has
Social.
always been, yes, he has always been, a scam. And we all knew it back in the day. Do you know the 2 people that started Truth Social actually were fired from The Apprentice? They're
Yeah.
the ones that started it, and now they have nothing to do with it. He convinced them to sell their shares to Melania.
Oh, she's
Yeah,
gonna get stuck with the company when it goes under.
I'm really curious what's gonna happen with that because it looks very interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
Alright.
it'd probably be I mean, if he loses the election, my guess
Well,
is that
let's
he's
let's hope.
my thing is that whatever happens with Trump World is going to be a reality TV show. And he's gonna make a lot of money off of it because that will be entertaining to see, him dodging legal stuff and Melania leaving him and bleeding him. Well, I'm sure that there's a prenup there,
You think
but,
it's gonna be a train wreck like The Osbournes? That was amazing television. That was the
n
best thing
I I
ever.
think I think it'll be a thermonuclear dumpster fire, in a
Yay!
super fun site because that, uh, you know,
Can we
Osborne's
can
Osborne's were entertaining, but this will be far more entertaining.
yeah, I imagine it will be. Can you imagine the amount of orange that's going to melt to the floor? Anyway, uh,
Wow.
alright, so now that I've made a really mean joke, it
Do
makes
you
me think of a
repent?
friend.
Do
It
you repent
makes me
your
think of a friend who would have appreciated it.
Yes.
In Tennessee, and across the country because he was known by many as bootleg libertarian. Christopher Darnell, passed away. Was it yesterday morning? Is that
It was
correct?
yesterday morning from what I understand, yeah.
Yesterday morning. Um, I I had a complicated relationship with the man because he was not a simple guy, and he wouldn't want me to lie and say some sugary bullshit. Um, and truth be told, that's kind of the last person I'd want to haunt me because can you imagine what the fucking pranks would be? So I'm not gonna lie. There are times that we came face to face screaming. Well, he was about a foot and a half taller than me, so he would have to crouch down to my level. But there were also times that we had really good conversations. He is the reason that I have seen the very tippy tip of East Tennessee in walking houses for a campaign for Rob Burke. He's the one that brought Rob Burke to our attention. Um, he's the reason that I went axe throwing, and apparently I'm good at that. I never would
Nice.
have known otherwise. And I sat between Christopher Darnell and Tom Arnold at the very last libertarian convention that I will ever attend. I hate that this has happened, and I hate
Yeah.
it for his family, and I hate it for his fiancée, and I hate it for his kids. And if you were able to donate to his fund, absolutely do so. I don't have it keyed up, but I can put it in the comments.
Yeah, I don't have it
Um,
either.
I'll find it right now.
There you go.
I want y'all to know you're not alone, and if you need somebody, you reach out.
Yes, absolutely. Um, Chris, Bootleg, as I knew him, we didn't cross paths a lot. I helped out a friend that was on his network, Christine Kussler-Womack, who's been a host on this show before, fill-in host. She had a show on his network briefly. The great thing about and there's lots of jokes about libertarian podcasters, and I make the jokes myself because I'm very self-effacing when it comes to stuff like that. We give voice to voiceless people, um, and that's what he did. He gave voice to a voiceless movement and people within that movement. Let them shine on their own, and uh, made the world a better place for doing that. And I where there's going to be a void in his particular area of the liberty movement that he was the voice for. That's sad. Um, yes, condolences to his wife or his fiance, his children, his family. It's a very sad story, and we talked about grief and death the other week with the passing of our friend Ed Reagan, who had his funeral on Saturday. Um, there's too much of it going around. Please
Mhm.
take care of yourselves. Yes, the Not a Real Libertarian podcast. He did a lot of stuff under the Not a Real Libertarian kind of podcast sphere there. Um, but take care of yourselves. Reach out for help if you need it. Reach out to your loved ones. Reach out to your medical community if you need help. Um, eh, you know, Take care of yourself because we only get this one life, and we don't know what's beyond it. And we've got people now picking up the pieces on the other side, and that's tough. No matter how it happened, it's tough because there are people hurt now, and so if you can donate to the fundraiser to support his family, please do so. The link is in Facebook. Let me copy that and send it out to all.
Put it in YouTube. I don't know the other
Uh,
ones 'cause I don't have those apps.
Actually, send it to me in the
Which
private chat.
Darnell would tell me he would make fun of me for that shit because I hated Discord, and he was like, "It's just because 'cause you're old, you can't figure out how to use it." It was like, "Yeah, I know. Uh,
I hate
I
Discord.
know."
Discord is
Uh,
probably the one of the most accurately named social media companies around there because I
right?
never have been in a. There's like a couple Discord channels that are
It's
normal,
like,
but it's usually just devolves into uselessness.
yes.
So, while you were looking at send that to me in the private chat so I can put it out throughout the our chat universe. Are you ready for the quiz?
Yeah, let's
Sure.
let's see what
What the
happens.
hell? I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Whatever the fuck.
I mean, I've paid attention so much to news this week, but there could be some interesting stuff going that I will not know.
I'm trying to send it to you.
All right. What we do? I'm in the wrong. Hold on a second. We'll be right back.
Oh no.
There it is. Oh no. There we go. April 4th. I think I still have last week's quiz up somewhere. I'm not sure where.
That's
But
okay.
all right. So everything that's happened before April 4th is in this quiz. So everything that happened Friday and Saturday and today is not in the quiz, and probably everything that happened after the afternoon of April 4th. So I don't think the earthquake was in there. I think that happened on Friday. So anyway, um, let's see. That is, oh, I forgot to see. Los Angeles Police Department. Is there context clue? A building is our context clue. Oh, that was another big news story this week was the Taiwan earthquake.
Mhm.
And then this is some kind of federal landmark of some sort.
Mm.
All right. Question number one. Which celestial phenomenon will captivate millions of onlookers on April 8th? We've been talking about this all show long. Super blue moon, total solar eclipse, meteor shower, and black hole formation.
Polar eclipse of the heart.
Yes, it's the total solar eclipse.
Yay!
So there are two different types of solar eclipses because the moon is not moon moves in and out. It's not always at a static distance from the Earth.
Yes.
So sometimes you can have a eclipse where the moon covers most of the sun at its maximum, but this one will
Mhm.
cover the sun totally. For those people who are in the totality, you can actually take your sunglasses off during that time to view it. Um, you're not getting direct sunlight into your face. If you are at anything less than totality, you are going to have a bad time taking your sunglasses off. Leave your sunglasses on. Do not drop your sunglasses and look at the like I did with my glasses here. Don't look over. Always look forward. Also, a couple other things with the sunglasses that you want to look at. Um, there's some websites you can look to make sure that the glasses are legit. One way to do it is to test staying inside your house with a bright light. Put the sunglasses on. If you don't see any of the light, you're good. Um, you're not supposed to see any regular light when you put on a pair of these sunglasses. So I'm not in totality, so I'll be wearing the sunglasses the whole time. But I'm looking forward to it. All right, question
That
number
would be fun.
two: which event took place at the White House this week? Easter egg roll, governor's ball, correspondence dinner, or state dinner?
Easter egg roll?
I think so. It was Easter last week, and that was before last
Before
week's
April
quiz.
4th. So, dun, dun, dun.
Yeah,
I
I
know.
think
I
it's Easter.
remember him talking about big bunnies.
I like big bunnies,
Yay!
and I cannot lie. All right, question number three. Which popular movie premiered in Japan this week, 8 months after its worldwide release? Barbie, Oppenheimer, The Little Mermaid, or Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3?
Is it Oppenheimer?
I'm going to guess Oppenheimer. That's probably not going to be a popular subject um,
I'd imagine not.
in Japan. That's not going to play well to crowds. Um,
I don't see them really giving a crap about the other ones the way they would about that one. Just saying.
you got the Eclipse.
Mm.
Janice got the Easter egg roll. And Craig says Oppenheimer. We're going to go Oppenheimer here. Correct. Japanese moviegoers finally got the chance to see Oppenheimer in theaters this week. 8 month delay was due to the concerns of how it might be received in the only country to directly experience nuclear warfare. That's fair.
That's
I'm
fair.
not gonna begrudge them that. Question number four: what is the Biden administration expected to sell Israel in a deal worth more than $18 billion? Fighter
Mm.
jets, warships, tanks, or submarines?
Does fighter jets make more sense?
Yeah, fighter jets or tanks they're not really gonna need well, I mean, they would take warships, I'm sure, but submarines, eh. I'm trying to look at the picture. I'm thinking that's almost looks like a submarine, though.
I have no idea.
That's like the con tower of a submarine and the rest of the submarine. I don't anybody
It
out
looks
in
like
the
finger painting.
Janice, why? That's right. I have no idea either. Janice got Oppenheimer as well.
Of course she did.
I'm gonna say
Um,
I'm gonna say fighter jets.
okay.
I'll
Because
take the L on this.
is that like a carrier and then there's a jet up in the sky? Is that what it
It could
is?
be. Could be. Correct. Oh, it's
Bunch of smoke.
smoke from them bombing innocent civilians.
Oh no. That's yeah.
Yeah. All right. Which of the following was recently struck by a 7.4 magnitude earthquake? We touched on this briefly. Thailand, Taiwan,
Mm.
Turkey, or Tunisia, or any other country that starts with T. We did Tuvalu last week.
So
Janice gets it. Taiwan.
yay.
That was there was some really gnarly video coming out of Taiwan for that one. Um, the people on the bridge, and that thing is just bouncing. And after seeing the whole thing with the bridge in Baltimore, I that would be the last place I want to be
Oh
for
yeah.
for a bridge. Yeah, that was rough. There's that apartment building you see there, just kind of it started sliding this way. The front of the building is on the other side. Um, yeah, 25 strongest earthquake in 25 years, killing at least 9, which you see that kind of
Mm.
damage. That's, kind of a miracle. That was an apartment building. So, um, glad that they kept the casualties to a minimum, um, injuring 1,000 others. That's sad. Um, again, not eclipse related. The eclipse has not happened yet. Question number 6: which college sport is seeing record audiences and surging ticket prices?
I
Men's
know this
soccer,
one. It's a sports question and I know it. Sorry.
nice. Men's tennis, women's softball, or women's basketball? Which one?
Okay. So women's basketball.
It is women's basketball. They've had a really successful tournament. They've got some intriguing personalities. I haven't watched a minute of it, and it ended today with South Carolina claiming the national title over kind of this all world
Oh.
player and Caitlin Clark in Iowa. The South Carolina team actually finished the season completely undefeated. Um, it's almost like college basketball. This tournament is almost like the 1979 men's college basketball tournament. Before that, men's college basketball is very regional. It was popular in some of this, like North Carolina and Kansas and a few other places. But after, Larry Bird versus Magic Johnson in the 1979 final, it blew up and it became this juggernaut that it is today. Um, I think some of the lusters come off the men's tournament, but the women's tournament is gaining steam, and it's great to see. A lot of people just complain about women's sports, and they don't. Jana's got the question right as well. Um,
Yay.
uh, a lot of a lot of people have made complaints, especially when we've talked about the transgender issue with when it comes to women's sports. And these people couldn't identify a women's sport if it sat on their face. So, um, I'm glad that, women's sport watched, the She Believes Cup this week, with the, US playing Japan in soccer. Um,
Mhm.
women's sports is great. I love women's hockey. The new professional women's hockey league, um, had a very successful first season and looking forward to see how that grows. So, great to see women's basketball, moving up the ranks. I've never really been a big fan of women's basketball, but the game is improving. There had been for a long time, just like with women's soccer, there was a long time with a significant gap in success between, the like with women's soccer, the US versus everybody else.
Yeah.
That gap is closing. In the college game, there was like 3 or 4 really good teams, and the rest of the teams just played to get beaten by those teams, and then they'd end up in the finals. So we're starting to see teams, non-traditional teams like Iowa here. South Carolina's had a good run. Um, but yeah, we're I'm glad to see the game growing. That's only positive for women's sports in general.
Yay.
Question number 7: which state Supreme Court cleared the way for a 6-week abortion ban? New Jersey, Florida, Illinois, or Louisiana? And I know the answer
It's
to this one.
Florida.
It's Florida. It's Florida man on the Supreme Court of Florida that did also clear the way for a state constitutional amendment
Yes.
to be on the ballot in November. Democrats have declared that this is a boon for them in the election. Um, I don't know that is. I don't think it'd put Florida as far as presidential election in play, um, because I think Republicans are more than willing to say, you know what, I'm going to vote for Donald Trump, but I'm going to vote for this constitutional amendment because I think what we've got goes too far. Um,
Um,
Donald Trump's been
I
actually rather non-committal on this. He's actually been kind of against this whole stuff with abortion because he does as a rational. Well, God, I will never call him a rational person, but anybody who watches politics would understand this has been a losing issue for Republicans all over the country in rock red Republican states too.
Yes, but he also brags, "I got rid of Roe and no one said we could get rid of Roe," and he says all that shit. So, there is that.
Yeah,
The hope, and this is the worst, this is the this is how
Janice is on
desperate
fire.
people are about abortion, about women's rights to their own freaking bodies. Um, the hope is that the stories over the next few months between now and November will be enough to push anybody to say, "Hey, maybe we should not be part of this. Maybe we should let, medical handle medical."
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Question number 8: which American landmark is getting $100 million facelift? I think this was that government thing that we saw earlier. The Space Needle, the Statue of Liberty, the Hoover Dam, or Ellis Island Museum. I'm going to
That
say that was Ellis Island, the
I was
museum.
about to say it would have to be Ellis because it doesn't look like any of the other ones because I know what they look like.
That's also true. Um,
They're
yeah, I don't see the Statue of Liberty or anything. All right.
no.
Correct. Ellis Island Museum is getting a 21st century makeover more than 100
Don't.
years after millions of immigrants took their first steps in America there. And have you have you ever traced your lineage back to when they came over?
Uh, in high school, I know there was somebody in the Revolutionary War, but it was a German name.
So I traced my dad's family coming. Well, actually, we've got both my dad and my mom's family
That's
coming
cool.
over. Um, uh, Part of my mom's family came over in the Mayflower, and part of my mom's family is related to the Windsor family of British
Yeah.
royalty fame. But my dad came over. His dad came over from Italy, and not only do they have the Ellis Island record on Ancestry.com, but they have like a
Yeah.
picture of the ship that he came over on, which is really cool to see. Like it was not the most sturdy ship I've ever seen. Like I don't know. I'd have been
Yeah.
felt really cool about going transatlantic um, from Naples, Italy to Ellis Island. That
That's just
seems to be a heroin,
terrifying.
and I think he had $3 in his pocket. So
See? Insanity.
it is, and the it was a net benefit
They
to
were
the United
smart.
States.
They didn't take that crazy ship. They came down through Canada.
What is that all about? Yeah, no, it's back then. Immigration was a boon for America. The people came over. They brought their skills to the table and they helped people, and that's the same thing that's happening today. And the whole immigration argument to me um, is just stupid. Should we check
Absolute
people at the
crap.
border and say, "Hey, who are you and what are you doing here?" Sure, they're coming to work. Okay, here, let's put you in contact with resources, get you a job, and do stuff. They'll pay, and I'm not a huge fan of taxes, but they'll pay taxes and pay into the system. And eventually, if they want to become a U.S. citizen, there should be a pathway to do that. Or if they just want to go back home and take care of their family back home, that's great too. But the current system we have is not working. So,
No, and it hasn't for a very long time.
nope. All right, question number 9. Which food item has seen a steady rise in prices over the last several months? Which one hasn't? Lettuce, eggs, potatoes, or tomatoes?
Well, it's not tomatoes because
Not
that's
enough
not
red
red.
there. I mean, there's some red here, but I know eggs had their moment. Potatoes,
It
maybe.
doesn't look like lettuce. I would say potatoes just based on the picture.
Yeah, it's either potatoes or eggs.
We always
Um,
eat potatoes, so
yeah, love me some French fries. I'll wait for the audience to catch up and see if they got a
come on, y'all. We need your help.
yes.
Help!
Help us, Obi-Wan. You're our only hope.
Help! All I can do is the Southern thing. I'm sorry. Um,
Yeah, I'm thinking it's potatoes, but Janice
like,
comes through. Thank you, Janice.
thank you, Janice.
Oh no, it was eggs.
Oh no.
Son of a bitch. Shit.
Ah,
Oops.
all right. So we missed one. I mean, that's a hard one because like everything is like which on
Everything's
that list
expensive,
isn't skyrocketing?
right? I mean, honestly,
All right. Question
what?
number 10 for a 9 question week. Which city experienced one of its largest cash heists? And this was the context clue we saw at the beginning.
Oh, I'm with you now.
This was bold. This
So where
happened.
was George Clooney? Sorry.
So it's in Los Angeles. So
Yes.
there are these warehouses. I didn't know that there were actually warehouses that did this. I thought there was like maybe some kind of bank type deal or most monetary transactions are strokes of keys anyway. But there was a warehouse in Los Angeles where it wasn't being monitored 24/7 by humans. Um, Somebody cut in through the roof and cut out of the wall. They were able to disable the alarm system, um, cut out the wall, and got away with, does it say $30 million? $30 million. If it was in $100 bills, it was like 661 pounds of money. If it
So how
was,
can you? Because they would have like the serial numbers of this money.
you
One
would
would
hope,
think, right?
if it's all in a
So how would
warehouse,
they
though,
possibly track that? I mean, how can they spend it? Because I'm thinking this whole lottery thing's dumb. They apparently don't watch their money in Los Angeles, homie. Let's go.
yeah. Well, I just watched this story about there 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 are groups from Chile that are coming up and staying on a visa, a tourist visa, and knocking over these big expensive homes in California while because they watch them with drones. They're their routine and wait for them to leave, and they knock over the house and steal millions of dollars of, whatever that they got, jewelry or, expensive stuff. Um, but yeah, this one's brazen, man. I don't this is easier than playing the lottery again. I mean, well, I don't know. That's a lot of planning that you got to go through to do it.
You,
It's an inside job of some sort. Somebody's had to have worked there
well,
to know where all
I'll
the
make
stuff.
friends, but you have to like lower yourself from the roof or whatever, because I have a bad back. I can't be doing that shit.
Oh no,
But I'll make a friend and
I'm
get
too
us an
heavy.
inside person.
I'm too heavy to
No,
get
we'll
lowered
figure it
down.
out. We'll figure it out. Okay, then you're in charge of seducing somebody and try it in there, and I'll figure out a harness and get dropped from the ceiling.
Yeah, but
Sorry, you're gonna
it's
have to
still six hundred and
participate,
sixty.
Valente.
I mean, if it's $100, it's 661 pounds of stuff. So that's a plus. You're gonna have to cut out of the side of the building to be able to do it. Although this is kind of like 9/11 in that.
I might know a guy. No,
Yeah,
sorry.
well, this is kind of like 9/11 that once it happened this time that they're gonna have that kind of scoped out, and that's not gonna work.
Uh,
Um,
we're gonna think of an original idea. Jesus.
yeah, that kind of sucks, doesn't it?
Ugh. Dan, we need your original criminal
Help
plot,
us, Obi
please.
Dan. Your only hope.
Opie Dan. Why haven't we thought of that before?
Obi Dan, your only
Opie
hope.
Dan. He's gonna be like, "You assholes."
Let me stop sharing. Well, there we go. All right. So, this week, actually yesterday, or actually this morning, I think, a man in Oregon won $1.3 billion in the Powerball lottery. Never West Virginia. It's never me. I played. So, what would you do with $1.3 billion? What would you do if just winning the lottery? Let's say you got $30 million.
Um, well, the first thing I would do is move to Colorado, easily, without any hesitation or concern at all. That would be really cool. I'd pay off anything of my mom's, and then I would probably start, to be completely honest, um, I think I'd start buying politicians.
Yeah, that's a great way to funnel money to yourself.
It's the only way I can figure out to change the world,
Yeah,
because PACs don't do it. PACs don't do it. I'm gonna have to buy the politicians themselves.
yeah.
I thought
So
about this because you and I discussed this. It was like, "How would you do this?" And I was like, "Well, I would donate to this campaign, I'd do this, and I would do that," and it's like, "No, I don't think I'm gonna play fair. I think I'm just gonna buy them outright."
yeah, might as well. I mean, you look at. I've done opposition research for some campaigns, and we were looking at the money that they were, being raised and money donated to the opposition campaigns,
Mhm.
and this is not within the LP. This is like Democrats versus Republicans. It's amazing to see how corporations give money to every candidate within an election. If they're like if you're an anti-banking guy, you're not going to get the money from the banking industry. But if both candidates are relatively equal, um, the banking industry is going to cut what they call their good government funds. They're going to cut checks to both of those candidates, hedging because they know that the whoever wins the race, we
They're
got a
gonna
good
have
guy.
to.
We got a guy.
Mhm.
Yeah, there may be some disparity between how much they give to a Democrat versus how much they give to a Republican, probably perceived on who's going to win. But let's say they get a shot and the lesser the one that they didn't believe in won, they still got an in now. We gave you money during your campaign.
Yes.
You do stuff for us. It is far more lucrative to play it that way than to play the stock market because a
Yeah.
$20,000 donation to the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee um, will open up a lot more doors and get money funneled back to your business, whether it's government contracts or whatever, than playing the stock market and
Yeah.
taking that $20,000 putting it on the stock market. Now, if you're a congressman, taking that money and putting it in the stock market makes sense because you get the insider trading and you can, be able to make the money as you want to.
Absolutely. I think, as far as the buying politicians goes, there would be key judges that would be helpful. Any judge that is over anything Trump, just buy them. Because
It didn't
that's
work for
the way
John
that this
Oliver,
was
though.
played. No, but that's John Oliver. I
Well,
wouldn't
he had
I wouldn't do it on the fucking like, for everybody to see, because if
I think I
Clarence
would have
Thomas
respected
had been
Clarence
like,
Thomas if he
I
had done
thought
that.
that that
If
was
he had
the
taken it,
best thing. That was hilarious. But if
yeah.
he had taken it, yeah. So, I really feel like that would be the way to go, um, which is very, and like I said, it's cynical, but am I wrong? Mm.
No? Um,
What would you do? What would you do? I wanna hear yours.
I would travel, a shit ton of travel. You probably wouldn't see me for a couple of years. Just I'm the type of person who wants to get every passport, every country in my passport. I'll go wherever.
No podcast?
All right, maybe I'd hang out on Sunday nights, wherever I'm at.
That would be cool.
I'm in the Bekaa Valley, getting
Where in the
shelled by
world is
Israel.
David Valente? It could be a whole thing. Would
Yeah,
get you
no,
a
no,
fedora? Like, it'd be fucking fanatic.
sure.
Yeah.
I do lots of traveling. I would buy a house in Bermuda. That is that's definitely one place. I've always wanted to have a place in Isle of Palms, South Carolina, just outside of Charleston.
Mm.
Of course, that depends on whether the poop hits the fan when it comes to selection, and we devolve into all that fun Civil
Oh,
War
well,
stuff.
hopefully that'll happen tomorrow. We don't have to wait till November.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, any reason to not go through the 2024 election. Um, but yeah, taking care of family, making sure that they're
Yeah.
debt free and kids are okay to going to college and all that stuff. And or I don't even know about doing like a college fund. It's
You
yeah, fun
have
for
you
them
have
to
you
do whatever
talked
the
to
fuck they want.
Sophie about college? You
I
need to
have
talk
talked
to
to her about
Sophie about college.
she is too much of a princess to go to college. She prefers to be waited
Oh,
on hand and foot. So yeah,
oh,
she's not a college girl. Um,
okay. Well, as long as you've given her the option.
I'm the wage slave, so or at least treat slave.
Treat
But
slave.
yeah, um, we probably have more cats too, which I don't know that Sophie would like.
Probably not.
Probably not, no. But yeah, say, you have a really cool shirt on.
Um, Thank you for noticing.
Yeah.
So this is the new design. This is a prototype. So I need everyone's opinion on what you think. Now, I'm wearing an extra large. It's 100% cotton, and it's the only thing that I've ever liked about baseball
Oh,
is
sorry.
this design of shirts. That's it. And of course, it says the political deep dive. So I'm going to stand up so you can see this is an extra large on me.
Noise. I'm gonna get one. Guess what I'm wearing?
Yes, quarter sleeves. Love your hoodie.
Yeah, I got a political deep dive hoodie. A
Yay!
nice little logo right here, and then on the arm has
Yay!
the political deep dive.
Love it.
It
That looks
probably looks
good.
better this way, but yeah. So twist my arm off. But yeah, to tell people how to if they are interested in getting a political deep dive hoodie or baseball shirt like that, or any
Well, if
other
you
thing. Actually, I'm gonna take my camera off right quick. Do you still have stickers?
there are still stickers,
Yeah,
um,
political deep dive sticker.
political deep dive stickers.
You'll have to go to
Of
Little Bubby Child to get these stickers, but
I have an Etsy account. It is, Lou Dog Design. That's where you can get political deep dive stuff and really very anti-Republican stuff. I'm very excited to show you a new bag that I have designed. And if anybody would like this bag or this shirt, please let me know in the comments and then I'll actually add it to the Etsy. I just want your opinions right now. What do you think of the baseball design shirt? And are you ready for this bag? So, Louis
Noise.
is also having to move to Colorado. So, this is his opinion of the Republicans that have passed all of the legislation that is causing us to move to Colorado. Doesn't it look amazing?
Yeah,
So, this was
you can own
designed
a
by
piece of
Charlie
Louis.
Campbell. Yes, you could have your very own Louis the Liberty Dog bag. And there are more coming. We've got more designs from Threshold, but that was the first one. It just felt
Nice.
appropriate.
Love it, love it. They also have pins. You can get pins on the website as well. And again, at the top right corner or top corner there, if you take your phone out and take a picture of it, it'll take you right to her store, and you can buy political deep dive stuff, any other political stuff that you want to. Fantastic stuff. Great quality. This is a nice solid hoodie.
Yeah.
It's actually warm. I'm kind of roasting right now, but that's because it's like
Thank you for your
mid
sacrifice.
60s, mid 60s in the area. So, but yeah, great stuff. I got a T-shirt as well. Got the sticker. Got the buttons. Great stuff, and you won't be disappointed if you purchase from the Etsy shop. Lou Dog Design.
Yay. Thank you
Living with
so much.
Louis the Liberty Dog is the only way to stay safe.
It is. It's true.
Word. All right. Anything else you want to talk about this week?
Hmm,
I actually do have one thing I need to talk about.
I think I'm good. What's your thing?
All right. Let me share the screen one more time. So on Friday, starting at noon, there is a big fundraiser for Fina Benoan, who's running for U.S. Senate in where is it? There we go. She is running for U.S. Senate in Florida, and she needs to raise money to uh, get on the ballot. Um, the big thing for third parties is jumping over the legal hoops to just get on the ballot. So yeah, there's a big 40 hours of freedom starting at noon on Friday, going through Saturday, to help her raise funds to get on the ballot. If you see this name down here at the bottom of the hosted by, that is yours truly. You'll be able to see some best of episodes of the political deep dive. We're going to go back deep into the vault on a couple of the episodes.
Oh my.
Yeah, deep into the vault. I'm not sure which ones I'm going to go with yet. There's one I know AJ was on with the we call it Chasing Dragons. It was with Chase Oliver talking about Dragon Con, which was a lot of
Oh
fun.
yeah.
And
Thank you.
yeah, I might do the women in politics episode. That was a really cool one.
Yeah.
We had Sammy Brown, who was a state legislator here in West Virginia. My sister, who was a candidate for office in New Mexico, um, and Kim Ruff, Kim Vaccarella, and Emily Hurtley, or Emily Wood, who used to be a co-host on the show. Were giving their experience because Emily was a campaign manager for Kim Ruff, and of course Kim Ruff was running for president, and we just get kind of got their experiences, trials and tribulations, a lot of the misogyny that happened while they were working. Also, yeah, there's the few other candidates that were taking part, but a lot of the trials and tribulations they had running for office. So great episodes. So join me. I'm going to be doing like a 4-hour stint of hosting and playing best of political deep dives. So come on and check it out. I might do the China episode with my friend Adria, talking about being locked in China. So, but
Oh,
that's
that'd be
it
a good
for
one.
yeah. That is it for this week. We will talk to you all next week if we're all still here after the Eclipse Mageddon.
Not sure what to hope for. Super conflicted.
Yeah, I know. It happens, it happens. But if it does
Yeah.
happen, know that I love all of you and some of you more inappropriately than others. So but I appreciate everybody watching tonight, and we will talk to you all next week. Have a great one, everybody.